Welcome back, dear friends, to our channel, where we explore the deeper dimensions of spiritual life and uncover the timeless truths that can radically reshape how we see the world and ourselves. Thank you for joining us again. And if you're new here, welcome to a space where the ancient wisdom of Buddhism meets the pressing questions of modern existence. Today, we are going to explore a question that could change your entire relationship with time, karma, and your future. Is every single moment this one, right now, a doorway to freedom? Can you really change your destiny, not by waiting for the perfect time, not by planning for a better future, but by awakening right here, in this exact breath? This question is more than philosophical. It's deeply practical. Because so many people feel trapped by their past, by circumstances, by limitations, by patterns they cannot seem to break. They wait for change, for something to shift externally, believing that only then will they have the power to act. But Buddhism turns this entire view upside down. The Dharma teaches that the power to change your life has never been outside of you. It's always been within your mind. And it's available now, not later, or someday, or in another lifetime. Now, let's begin by looking at one of the most profound insights in the Buddha's teaching, the nature of the present moment. In the Pali Canon, the Buddha speaks of time not as a line moving from past to future, but as a field of rising and passing phenomena moment to moment. He says that all formations are impermanent, all conditions are interdependent, and all moments arise from causes and conditions that are constantly shifting. This means that no matter how fixed your life may feel, nothing is actually static. You are not doomed by your habits. You are not sentenced by your past. Because the very forces that created your suffering are themselves impermanent, and therefore, they can be dissolved. They can be interrupted. They can be transformed. How? Through awareness. Let's say you're overwhelmed with anxiety. The mind races, the breath shortens, the chest tightens. You think, this is just how I am. But at that very moment, if you become aware of the breath, if you pause and observe, something shifts. That moment of observation, of choosing presence, disrupts the pattern, and that disruption creates space. Space is freedom, and freedom is the birth of a new karma. Every time you bring awareness into a moment of unconsciousness, you are changing the trajectory of your life. You are planting a new seed. You are creating a new ripple in the ocean of causality. The Buddhist teacher Thich Nhat Hanh often said, "The present moment is the only moment where life is truly available." He meant that all suffering, all regret, all worry exist either in the memory of the past or the fantasy of the future. The present, when fully entered, is free of those burdens. And that is where liberation begins. But let's make this even more practical. Imagine you're in the middle of an argument. Emotions are high, words are flying. The energy is hot. You feel angry, justified, ready to prove your point. Now pause. Imagine that in the middle of that storm, you suddenly remember, this is just a pattern. I don't have to repeat it. And instead of yelling, you take a breath. You soften your body. You remain silent. You listen. In that moment, you've changed your karma. You've changed your future, because the karma of that argument was heading toward more pain, more division, more resentment. But your pause interrupted that flow. That's how powerful awareness is. And this doesn't just apply to conflict. It applies to addiction, to fear, to procrastination, to self-criticism. Every time you catch yourself in the act of suffering, and instead of reacting, you turn inward, become aware, and choose differently, you are literally reshaping your destiny. One of the most inspiring stories comes from a practitioner who had struggled with alcoholism for years. She had relapsed multiple times. Each time, she believed the store, "I'm broken, I'll never change." But one day, in the middle of reaching for a drink, she paused. She didn't force herself. She didn't judge herself. She just paused. She breathed. She noticed. And that moment of noticing created a gap. That gap became a choice. That choice became a turning point. She said later, "That was the moment I realized I'm not my story. I'm not my habit. I'm not my past. I'm whatever I choose to do right now." This is the heart of the Dharma. You are not bound. You are not helpless. Your karma is not a prison, it's a field, and the seeds you plant now determine what grows later. So why don't more people live this way? Why do we keep waiting for change instead of creating it? Because we are trained to believe that change must be dramatic. We think we need a new job, a new relationship, a new location. But those are external shifts. The real change, the change that matters, happens inside, and it often happens quietly. No one may notice, but you will know. You'll know because you'll stop reacting the same way. You'll stop clinging to the same stories. You'll stop blaming and start witnessing. And that witnessing, that still, steady awareness, is the root of all transformation. One of the most powerful tools for this is mindfulness practice. Not just formal meditation, but moment-to-moment presence, walking with awareness, eating with gratitude, speaking with kindness, listening with openness, breathing with intention. These are not small things. They are revolutionary. Every act of mindfulness is an act of rebellion against unconsciousness. Every moment of awareness is a crack in the wall of samsara, and through those cracks, the light of awakening begins to shine. Let's go even deeper. The present moment is not just powerful, it's sacred, because it is the only place where karma is made. The past is gone, the future is unborn. But this moment, this now, is where intention meets action. And that union is karma. If you use this moment to love, to forgive, to breathe, to pause, to bow, to offer, then you are planting seeds of future joy. If you use it to judge, to escape, to attack, to numb, then you are reinforcing the cycle of suffering. The choice is yours, and always now. This is why Buddhist masters never speak of later. They speak of now, of immediate action, of instant mindfulness, because they know every moment you delay is a moment you lose, not in fear but in opportunity. You don't have to wait for enlightenment. You don't have to wait to be perfect. You don't have to wait for a retreat or a teacher or a better mood. Start now, as you are, with what you have. Let the next breath be your practice. Let the next step be your path. Let the next thought be your teacher. And if you fall back into old patterns, no problem, begin again. Always begin again. That's the beauty of the present, it's always available. It never runs out. It never judges you. It simply waits, ready, open, calling you home. Thank you so much for watching this video. If this teaching reminded you of your own power, of the sacredness of the moment, of the freedom that lives in your breath, please subscribe, like, and share your reflections below. What moment changed your path? How do you return to presence? Your story may be the turning point someone else is waiting for.